Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. It is time for December show and tell. I have I always say this, but I have a humongous pile of stuff in front of me and it's going to be amazing. So I'm just going to get right into it. You may hear some chit chat in the background because Peggy is off working with Rose in the sewing area. So if you hear chitter chatter, that's what's happening. Anyways, let's start off with YouTubey things. So there's a few things I want to mention. The first of which, the thing that I think I would, if I had to pick one to be the absolute favorite this month, it would be Candy Soul and Soil's video, How I Really Feel or what I really think about the tarot community. I can't remember which one of those it is, but I will link the video itself in the description box down below so you can check it out because it was so wonderful. It was like one of the most heartwarming things I've seen all year. It was really lovely. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Super sweet. Candy is a bright soul in this community and I just loved it. And everybody was talking about it. Like I felt like so many people were like, Lisa, have you seen it yet? And it was so sweet, but it was really, really, really good. The other thing I discovered in December, and I can't remember at what point in December, but I think it was early on in the month, what is a YouTube channel called My Lan. I might not be saying that right, but again, I'll have a link down below. She is this brilliant, like, sound therapy or sound healing musician. I don't know what you would call them, but what she does is absolutely incredible. She does voice and singing bowls and she like loops the tracks and it's so layered and beautiful. And if you love sound healing or like throat singing or anything along those lines, I don't know if I'm not going to describe it well, but go check it out. Like I said, I'll have a link to the channel down below. It's incredible. And the other channel I want to shout out this month is the Quitch Witch. She's doing lots of walkthroughs. Her channel's super fun. I'll have a link to that down below as well. Stevie's a doll. She was on our Peggy's Yule Ball live stream, so she hung out with us for a little bit there. But I've been watching a bunch of her videos that she's been putting out, and it's super fun. So I wanted to definitely mention that. So let's talk body and beauty. And I'm very restrained this month. And this is going to be something hopefully, probably, maybe, I don't know, hopefully is the right word, but probably will continue into 2022 because I am pulling back a little bit from all the pretty things just because I'm in a state of overwhelm. We'll be talking about that more later. So keep an eye out for my video all about my like journals and planners because I'll be probably chatting about it there. But I have two beauty things I want to mention. The first of these is the polish I'm actually wearing right now, although it's a little bit chipped at the moment. But this is Zoya Tomoko? I think that's how you say it. Zoya Tomoko. So that is what the bottle looks like. This is a pixie dust. I've got ink all over my thumb. This is a pixie dust polish. So it is actually like a matte glitter, I guess you could say. I'll hold my nails up even though they're chipped and kind of whatever. But it's got this really pretty like champagne gold color. And I bought it specifically because I thought it was really elegant and pretty. And I used to have a ton of these matte glitter polishes because there was a period of time in which these were really popular and all the brands like OPI and everything were putting these out and I had a bunch of them. I think some of them were called like liquid sand. I'm trying to remember what else they were called back then, but I wanted one that would be kind of neutral so that I could wear it all the time. It wouldn't feel so flashy. But one of the things I like about these matte glitter polishes, they're not that matte. They're very sparkly in the light. But what I like about these is that the texture of them means that little dings and chips I feel are less noticeable. And I found that these polishes can be a little bit rugged. So as much as mine are a little bit chipped, I've been pretty hard on my nails since I put this on and I feel like it just holds up well. So if I need like a durable polish, I feel like these are great for that. I think this is the only one I have currently, but it's really pretty and I love this color. It's like, again, that sort of champagne-y color and I wore it for New Year's Eve and love it, love it. So the other thing that I wanted to mention that's sort of beauty related was a splurge I splurged on in December. Was it December or end of November? I think it was end of November, but I wore it for the first time in December. And that is this Auric Smoke Reflect. So this is what the bottle looks like. This is one of their holiday special edition, I guess you call it, colors. The reason I sprung for this one, and I got the cranberry one also, which is called Disrupt. This one is called Entice, and I'll show you the color. It's like a smoky olive green, and I'm a sucker for greens. So that is what the color looks like in the pot. It's a cream shadow with the top part of it. So this is the little jar part. And then the top part is a topper. And this topper is so pretty. I want to put my fingers all over it for you guys. I'm probably going to because I can't help myself. But there's like a little mirror. But then there's this, let's see if I can get you to see it without getting blinded by the mirror. There we go. It's really, okay, this doesn't really do it justice, but I'm gonna put it on myself because like, do I care if it's like this, one of these sheer like colorless kind of toppers that makes your skin look really wet. Okay, I think I did that well. I kind of blended it out on my hand. Let's see if I can get the light to catch it. So hopefully you can see that. It gives this like sheen with all the fine, fine glitter. So that's a really pretty topper to put. I love things like that. And I love putting that on stuff, putting it over top of other eyeshadows. And I currently had already a cream eyeshadow by Charlotte Tilbury. I can't remember the name of it. Oyster Pearl. And a different topper like this that's in a Wayne Goss eyeshadow palette. And I love layering those two. So this is like a little all-in-one. And I did wear this all over my eyes. And I think this was all I was wearing with this topper in the last 3 Fat Readers video in December, which by the way is also a favorite. 3 Fat Readers is always a favorite. We talked about in December, we talked about on Boxing Day. We did a live stream where we talked about decks that surprised us. It was super fun. I will link that also down below because I'm out of order, but whatever. That was really, really fun. And it was fun to get together like on Boxing Day, like during the holiday weekend. That was a lot of fun. But anyways, this is, I'm pretty sure what I was wearing that day. Unless I was wearing the cranberry, but I think it was this one. I think it was this one, but this one's my favorite of the two. I found it the easiest to work with. When it blends out, it just looks nice. The cranberry, I feel like when it blends out, depending on how you put it on, it just looks less cranberry. It looks a little bit more neutral, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, so I've got to play with that one more. But this one, I loved, love, love, love. So anyway, that is it for Body and Beauty. That's it. That's all I'm going to share. But I've got lots in other categories, so it's fine. We're going to make up for time. TV, the only thing we watched in December, but it was really good, and I'm so glad we finished it in December, is Hawkeye. So it's another Marvel universe, but it's set in New York at Christmas time, and it was just really fun, especially fun if you're kind of up to date on the major like on-screen movies. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say if you're up to date, there's some cool things, and it was fun. It's fun. That's all I'll say. I have on my to-watch list the Wheel of Time, which I'm so excited to watch. I probably just put glitter on my nose. So excited to watch that, but I haven't started it yet, so I can't mention it yet. But I know it's going to be something I'm going to be excited to watch. I just don't have a ton of time for TV, so it's like, well, I have time for TV. I don't make a lot of time for TV is probably the best way to express that. I just end up doing other things with my free time. So hopefully I'll get around to it. Hopefully. Food. So the big thing is that Peggy and I signed up for a service here in the BC area called Yogi's Kitchen. Now, it's been hard, not hard, but with Peggy and I living here, just the two of us, so we're kind of resetting our lifestyle. We don't have Steve living here. We don't have to cook for another adult. I've been really enjoying the meal kits that I've talked about before that we get from Fresh Prep, which is a local company that does those meal kits, but they do them in more, ecologically friendly packaging, less waste, etc. It's been really great, and I'm still doing those. I'm doing at least 2 meals a week from there. But there were several days a week because of our schedules, because of running to the post office for Peggy's orders or videos I've got to film or whatever, where we were just hitting fast food a little too often because it was just convenient and easy to do that. And so we wanted a solution for that. And then our kids, John and Kim, so John and his girlfriend Kim, mentioned to us that they were getting a service called Yogi's Kitchen. Now, this is fairly new. I think it started up during the pandemic or like right when the pandemic started. But it's a meal delivery service. It's Indian food. And it's kind of like a tiffin service. If you've ever heard of tiffins, they're like kind of like lunch kits that are really common in India. And we have a pretty decent sized Indian population here, which is probably how it got started. But now lots of people we know are getting these, and it's basically a really inexpensive, like, cooked meal delivery service. So you usually will get like rice and rotis, which are flat little bread things, and then a couple, like some kind of dal, which is like a lentil dish, and then some kind of a curry or something. So we're getting that like 4 days a week, and we got it on a Black Friday sale deal. So we signed up for a certain amount of credits, which I think will carry us through for the next few months, and we get like 4 times a week. We will get these meals, and each one of these meals that comes is 2 servings. So if it comes during the day, maybe Peggy and Rose have it for lunch, or if it comes if it always comes during the day for lunch, or if they don't get to it, we'll have it for dinner. But we have this like ready to go food that we can just heat up and eat, and it's been really good for keeping us away from those like easy runs to McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like we still do that, but we do it less often, which is great. So that's been something we've been really enjoying. So I had to mention it in the food section. I think my favorite thing that I made from Fresh Prep this past month, the favorite recipe, was a miso glazed salmon on an edamame and avocado salad. It was incredible. I could have eaten it like a week straight. Like, it was so good. That's the thing I feel like is nice about Fresh Prep too, is that we get meals that we wouldn't normally think to cook, or that I probably wouldn't be adventurous enough to come up with on my own, and it's just a great way to shake up like our routine, so I'm still loving that. Okay, we get to talk about books now, because no. We have to talk about randoms, because I have a bunch in the random category, and then we have books and decks, and it's going to be a whole thing. Okay, so the first thing is Advent-y stuff. So I am a sucker for Advent calendars. And the first one I want to mention, yes, there are more than one. This one is kind of like the big daddy. This is the one that Peggy and I made for us for the house. And this is basically what it looks like. So we sewed all the pieces. We came up with the design ourselves. It was copied from that Halloween one that we did. We made all these pockets. We painted it with fabric paint. And then at the bottom, let's see if I can show you. So there's 24 days up at the bottom. And then there's this big pocket that we put in the bottom. It's huge. It's like real big right here. And in the bottom, we had this huge amount of like candy and goodies. So on Christmas Day, we got to open the big pocket at the bottom. It looks kind of ridiculous when it's all full and hanging up because we really overstuffed it. And that's my fault because when we were out getting candy and stuff to put in this for December, I may have stumbled on exactly one. And it was the very last one that they had of the Bon Maman Jam Advent calendars. And I had found out about this. If you guys remember, I discovered Bon Maman jam in 2021. And that's the only jam I've eaten since. Like, I've been really into it. I love it. There's a fun story about the creators of Bon Maman, which has been going around social media, which I get sent all the time because people know I love this jam. But it's a jam that comes in these clear jars with these little checkered lids. And they've got just delicious flavors and it tastes kind of homemade. It's so good. Anyways, they put out an Advent calendar once a year and I didn't even know I could buy it locally. I thought I had to get it online, but we were at London Drugs, which is one of our local stores. That's kind of like a drugstore and electronics and like some household stuff. And anyways, we had a gift card there. So that's where we were to get Advent calendar candy. And we stumbled on the Bon Maman Advent calendar and I brought it home. So these little jars of jam, they're so cute. Look at, so you get 25 of these little jam jars. And each one of these has, I would say, 2 tablespoons of jam. And it's like the exact right amount for 2 pieces of toast. Like it's like the exact right amount. In my opinion, it's perfect. And there were just tons of fun flavors. I was really tempted to keep all the little jars. I did keep a handful of them in case I want to do anything with them magically, because they're just such a cute little size. But there were some really fun flavors. All the labels are in French. So between the label and like little teeny picture on the label, I would figure out what the jam was because I was too lazy to look it up. So like this one was mango, peach, and citron, which I think is lemon. So mango, peach, lemon was this one. And this one was yuzu and lemon. This one was strawberry and vervain, I think. Some kind of herb. Yeah, I think it's vervain. This is what it says on the label. Vervain? I don't know. Phrase is strawberry. They were all delicious. I even took, I have a few left because as we were getting behind on toast and jam, obviously, because that's a lot of toast and jam. But so I have a small bowl on the counter next to where the toaster is. And one of them was like a fig and something. And that one I spooned over a chunk of brie with a little brown sugar and that went in the oven. And we had baked brie one night. So that was really fun. Mostly I've just been putting it on toast. I did something else with one of them too. But now I can't. Oh, I had a cherry one, a really delicious cherry one. And we had gotten this like plain slice of New York style cheesecake from takeout. And I literally got it so I could do this. But I got the piece of New York style cheesecake and I put the cherry jam on top. It was so good. It was so good. So that was a wonderful way to do it. If I just had a freezer full of single slices of New York style cheesecake and I could just have spooned these on, I would have eaten a lot of cheesecake's like my favorite. I would have had a lot of cheesecake with different jams. But these have been super fun. But they filled up like almost the entire pocket of that homemade advent calendar. Plus we had candy that was all stuffed in. And then on the last day, I think we had 3 or 4 of these in that big present. And because Peggy filled it and randomized it and all that kind of stuff. But these were so fun. And I would totally recommend it if you're into jam and you're into advent calendars. This was such a cool, unique one. I would do it again. I probably won't do it again next year because it'd be like too soon. But like, it was really cool. So that was a fun random one I had to share. And then another random thing I have to share. So I signed up for Sticky Club, which is a sticker subscription service. And I signed up, I think, in like October sometime. And in my first order, I had ordered, they have this, I'm going to show it to you in a second, but I can show it to you now. They have this like notebook, which is also now a favorite. It's like a clear, like vinyl binder with like a floppy cover. And because in Sticky Club, and I'll just show you an example. In Sticky Club, you get one of these sheets. with your theme of stickers. So in the back of this, like, it comes in this binder page, and in the back there are your full sheets of stickers. And then in the front, there'll be little things tucked in and around. So like this particular month had a little notepad, and there's like a little clear stamp here. And then they also give you these corner labels so that you can label the corner of your page. And I was like, oh, well, I want to have the notebook thingy to put my pages in. So my very first order, I had ordered this notebook, and it was the pink ones that come in different colors. Well, around the same time that I ordered this, they had also released their 2021 Sticky Club advent calendars. And I don't have my actual calendar to show you because I didn't keep the packaging, which I know is going to probably upset some who love the packaging. But it was like a notebook, like a paper notebook with little paper envelopes. And each day you get to open an envelope and you get a sheet of stickers. Well, anyway, they had misshipped me the advent calendar instead of this. And of course, I reached out to them right away and was like, I didn't order this. And they'd also like left something else out of my order. So it was like kind of a messed up first order. And they said, oh, just keep it and we're going to send you the correct thing, which they did. So I ended up with the Sticky Club advent calendar, which was super fun to do. I don't think I would do it again because I felt like it was a lot of stickers all at once. And it was in the cute theme, which was kind of serendipitous because I like cute stickers. But I have discovered through Sticky Club that the cute theme is usually not my favorite because there's a lot of like food-based stickers, and I like not food-based stickers, I guess. So the neat thing about Sticky Club, if you don't already know, so you sign up for the subscription. It's like $10 or something a month. You can sign for each one you sign up for. I'm only signing up for one a month. And you can pick a theme. So they have 3 themes. They have cute, which is like all adorable, like kawaii kind of stuff. So that's, I think, why there's a lot of food. And then there's vintage, which is exactly like it sounds. And then pop. And pop is the one that I've noticed seems to have the most like different stuff and more astrological or witchy stuff seems to slide into the pop theme. So I subscribed to pop. But the cool thing about Sticky Club is that they give you spoilers every month on what's coming up the next month. They kind of show you what you're going to get. So if you don't mind the spoilers, you can go and look. And if you like a different pack better, you can switch. So actually, the first month I got pop. The second month I switched to vintage, I think. And then I switched to vintage. Then I switched to cute, and now I'm back to pop again. So it's kind of like neat that you can switch it around like that. But I also took advantage of their Black Friday sale, and I ordered a bunch of these extra pages to hold the stickers because they're actually honestly perfect for organizing the stickers I already had. So I went through and I organized like all this loose stickers that I have collected over time, and kind of put them into different themes and sorted them out myself. So now all my stickers, not all of them, all of the ones that aren't already in a book are now in here, kind of organized, and I've got extra blank pages in the back in case I end up with more stickers. And this has been fantastic because I love just being able to pull this out with my planner or whatever I'm going to sticker up and like be able to sticker it up without having to like rifle through a bunch of loose pages. And I feel like it's kind of organized and I like it. It's a lot of fun. So that was a lot about Sticky Club, but like also I'm kind of excited about it. So that's been fun. I enjoy stickers as a way to like decorate my planner when I feel like it. Or one of the things I've been doing lately is playing around with stickers in my book of shadows. So that's been kind of neat to play with. So love that. Another thing I wanted to mention that I don't know what other category I can put this in. This is a really terrible print, so like don't judge it based on my terrible printing, but I kickstarted Anamnesis, which is it was just like a print and play game, tarot-based game. So you use it with any deck, and it kind of takes you through sort of a role play in a way of like a character, like an experience with a character. And there's like prompts based on which cards you draw, and it's just kind of a fun thing. I've already done my first full playthrough. It was fun. I don't think it's something I'm going to do a bunch, but I don't regret backing it. It was really inexpensive, and I will keep it for now and see if I ever go back to it. But it was definitely fun to play through, and I think there's a lot of people that would really enjoy it, and it's really inexpensive. I will try to have a link down below to where you can get it. They also did a cool thing. The Kickstarter did really well, and they did a cool thing where they created, I think, 100 community copies, basically free copies that people can, I think, apply for based on financial need or something along those lines, like a pay what you can afford kind of thing where it's like free for those who need that, which I think is really cool that they did that. So anyways, it's a really neat thing, easy to print, easy to play. Again, my print is not pretty, but it did the job. And yeah, you could definitely print it cuter for sure. You could also probably print it and cut the pages out. And this might be tempting. I might actually do that. I might print it onto sticker paper and cut it out and paste it into a little, into like a tarot booklet so that I have it to refer back to later. And actually that makes me think I might want to do the same thing with my rules for Queens of Fate and Solitaro, just maybe put that with my spreads or something. I have to think about that because that could be fun to do. Anyway, so that's a favorite. Another thing I want to mention, and I actually think I got this in November. I want to say I got this in November. But a friend of mine, Jen, actually sent me and Peggy both these handmade junk journals, and they're so cute. So this one is mine, and this is so fun. I've kind of totally got like journal, what do you call it? Journal fear, because I don't even know what to do. And it's got this cool way it opens. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. So I think it opens this way. And then you get into it, and there's like a pocket here with a bunch of like little papers. One of them says, "You've got me tickled pink," which is cute. There's like tons of glitter and rainbows. These little cards in here are like adorable. And then this part opens up, and there's more pockets with more little cards and things. Like this one says, "If you have to be anything, be a rainbow," which is so appropriate for what my Halloween costume was. And there's just a lot of really cute things, like looking through rainbow glass and more things in that pocket. And then I think you flip the whole thing over. It does confuse me a little bit. I'm like, it's really cool. Okay, so yeah, so it kind of opens like this. So that opens, and then you get into this back part, and this is where you have more pocket stuff on this side. And then all these like hand-dyed pages. So this is the like notebooky part, and there's like a bunch. There's like grid papers and regular papers, and they're all dyed different colors. It's all rainbow. It's all rainbow themed. Look at this paper. I love how that dyed. Look at that. And I've never had a junk journal, I don't think, question mark. And there's like another little pocket that opens up back here. I thought this was so creative and so fun, and it must have taken her ages. And she did a really cool one for Peggy too that she's been using to actually keep Final Fantasy notes. And maybe that's what I should do, is keep this by my computer area so that when I have Final Fantasy things I want to write down, I can do that. But it's so fun, and I had forgotten to show it, I think, in November, and I really wanted to show it this month. So the next thing I want to show are the wrap bags that I used in December. So if you don't know, I'm really kind of hooked on these 2-pocket wrap bags that Peggy does. These do tend to sell out pretty quickly when she puts them in her shop. But the reason I like these, if you haven't heard me babble about it before, is these are basically like a pretty big sized bag. Like they were sized originally to hold, and they've got 2 pockets in the back that are separated with this nice sturdy divider. So these were originally designed so that you could get like a deck set, like a Llewellyn set, and you could put the Llewellyn guidebook in the back, and then you have the front pocket to put your deck either in a separate bag, or you can even put it in there loose. I always put them in there in bags, but that's kind of what it was designed for. I love this one, obviously. It's all like these beautiful, like ethereal unicorns, which I love. And then it's got this starry night on this side. Anyways, I've had this one for a little bit, but what I do with these is I'll literally put whatever decks I'm working with, I'll put them next to each other in there, and I very rarely have a bigger book, but I'll usually put them side by side. And if I do have a bigger book, I'll put the bigger book in the back pocket, and I'll put the 2 decks side by side in the front pocket. And then I keep my little Ivy printer in there, which is somewhere in this basket in front of me, but I keep my little printer in there because when I do my tarot journaling, I will lay out my spreads on this cloth, because I'll usually take this whole kit with me to work, and I'll do my morning spread when I'm settling in with my coffee in the beginning of the day, like at work. That's like the thing that I do. So I use the crap out of these, and I'll usually work with one for like at least a week, sometimes the whole month, just depends on what decks I'm working with. Anyways, I used this for most of December, and then I also used this one, which is my newest one that I snirked from one of her more recent batches, and look at the inside fabric. That literally reminds me of my channel background. I'm going to have to get a reading cloth made out of that, or make it myself or whatever. But I love this one. This is a really pretty like Celtic knotwork fabric, but I just love that the inside reminds me of my channel. So this is probably, if I had to pick an absolute favorite of all of the ones that I have right now, it'd probably be this one. The other thing I really like about this unicorn one is she did a really heavy star stitching right there, which I really like. I like the boulder stitches. Anyways, really enjoyed these. If there are any in stock, I will have a link. These get restocked every, I want to say maybe no more than once a month. It just depends, because these are more time consuming for her to make, but I get very excited about these, and I try not to snag one from every new batch, but I use these a lot. So I'm always rotating decks in and out of different ones, depending on which decks I'm working with. Like, yeah, it's just a thing. Anyways, these are always a favorite. So I'll probably always show at least one in my favorites, because I'm constantly working with those. And then the other thing that I want to show in random is I finally consolidated. I had multiple cases for my colored pencils. I still have 2. But But I was able to take my big sets of colored pencils and put them together, put both of my biggest sets in one case, which is a massive case, but I'm very excited about it. I will have a link to this case down below if you are a freak like me and have a lot of pencils. But there are 4 zippered compartments. And this one holds, so I have this set of Derwent Inktense pencils. There are 72 of these. These are pencils, these are like some extras that I have up here. These are like coreless, not coreless, these are woodless colored pencils up here. But these are Derwent Inktense. Now Derwent Inktense pencils are really, really cool because they are activated with water and then they're basically ink. So they're not watercolor. Once they dry, they're dry, but they're really cool and I have them in here now. And then I have my full set of Polychromos pencils, which are my babies. These are like my main colored pencil set, and I have 120 of those. So this holds 120 of the pencils. Then I have my color wheel here, and then I have some water brushes for my Derwent Inktense. I have an eraser pencil that I love and a blender pencil in here, and I still have like an extra spot for something. And I have a brush because I brush away when I'm erasing and stuff. I'll brush away the loose eraser bits with a makeup brush. Anyways, so this holds 120 plus 72. So I think this is a 200 slot case. So I'm able to hold my 2 big sets of pencils together, which is super fantastic because I keep a kit. Actually, I can show you this too, as long as I scooch my chair. Hold on. So I have this basket. This is like, I guess you could say this is like my hobby basket. I will try to remember to link this down below too. But when I want to just like do some journaling or like do some play artistically or whatever, I'll grab this thing. And this thing, so right now what's in it, I have my book of shadows, I have a book, I have a journal, I have and then I have, this is basically like a diaper bag, basket type thing, that's what it is. But there's this pocket here, this divider, and you can change how the dividers are set up. But then in this back part of the divider, I have my color chart. This is where I'm a nerd, you guys. This is where I have color swatched out all of my pencils, so I know what they look like when they're colored. And this big chunky thing lives in this back pocket. And then it's got pockets all the way around the sides, so I have like different sets of watercolor paints living in here. I have all kinds of goodies. What else do I have in here? Oh, and then on this other side, oh yeah, I have this little, I've talked about this before. I got this at like a Japanese dollar store, but this is like a little 3-part cup thing that you can use for brushes, clean water, and dirty water when you're watercoloring, and it just all nests like that. So that lives in there. What else do I have in here? I have some watercolor swatches, and then on the back side of this basket is actually a part that opens up to hold pens, and this is one of the places I can put my fountain pens. Oops! Well, that just happened on camera. I also have a zippered compartment where I keep the fountain pens that are not currently inked in the bottom there. Let me zip it up so I can show you. Like that. There's a zippered part now. Anyways, thankfully those are all my inexpensive fountain pens. They're fancy. They don't go in the bottom even if they're not inked. They'll go in the slots. But anyway, that was a lot. It was a lot, but I had to show because, yeah, that just kind of turned into a whole thing. But this little basket is great because, like, if I want to just be creative, I can pull this basket out, set it out somewhere. It's got handles, and bring it out to the living room with me, or I can set it out here where my table is. Just messing with all my junk over here. Anyways, super fun. Okay, we're going to move on now. Let's talk about books. That was a lot. I feel like that was a lot. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't talk memories. Let's insert it here. We'll do memories here because I don't want to forget. Then we'll do books, then we'll do decks because, yeah. Okay, memories. Couple things. It was Peggy's birthday in December, and we just kept things really, really chill. I got Peggy a special mount for Final Fantasy, which is like a thing your character rides on, for her birthday. And we saw the kids. It was really, really, really nice. And then we had a white Christmas. So we don't ever get white Christmases in this area, but we are in the middle of a cold snap. So we had a major snowfall right before Christmas. So it was snowy through Christmas, which is super unusual and was really great, but also like mildly stressful because we weren't entirely sure if the roads were going to be okay for the kids to come over for Christmas Day. So that was a little bit like touch and go for a few minutes. They were pretty much fine the whole time, but we were worried. And then they came over and it was great. It was lovely. And we totally did a completely different style Christmas. Normally we do the big turkey dinner and all of that. And this month we ordered Chinese food and it was amazing. It was just really chill, laid back, Nobody had to cook a whole lot or clean up anything. Well, there's a little cleanup because takeout, but like not bad. And it was just really lovely. And the last thing that I wrote down was walking around the frozen lake, because there is a lake, and I have a story about this. So there's a lake nearby in our neighborhood that's a small, like it's somewhere between like a pond, I guess, and a lake, but it's called a lake. So, but it's a small lake. It's on the small side of lakes. Anyways, I don't think I'd ever seen a frozen lake in person before, because I've grown up in this like more moderate temperature area where we get some cold snaps, but it never stays cold enough long enough for me to have personally seen frozen lakes. Like I'm sure there's lakes around here that freeze every year and I just don't see them. But this one's nearby, and we went for a walk, and it was at night, and the lake was all frozen over, and it was the coolest thing. I just remember just like stopping every 5 seconds to like toss a little stone out on the pond, and then the stones would make these like sounds. I don't know how to describe it, but I think what was happening is that the stone would hit the ice and then it would spin, and it was this really weird, unique sound, and I was just enchanted by it. So I was constantly throwing things out on the lake, and there was still like like it wasn't fully frozen over. It was just frozen in spots. The reason this is so interesting is because like less than a week later, we were driving by that same lake, and there was at least 1,000 people in various size groups on the lake, on the frozen lake. And there were all of these thin ice signs, barricades everywhere that people had walked past to go out on the frozen lake. Now, this was shocking to me for a number of reasons, and really shocking to Peggy for a number of reasons, but we don't get the kind of cold out here where a lake freezing over is even common. And we certainly don't get the kind of weather out here where a lake freezes over and stays frozen long enough to be safe for people to go like ice skating or something. And yet there were people playing hockey out there. There were parents with their young children and their pets and like gear, and they were set up on camping chairs, and like I was like, what is happening? That is the most terrifying thing to me. Peggy could not stop talking about it, because she's like, even in Ontario, like you don't ever go out on ice unless the ice has been like tested for safety. This clearly wasn't. Clearly had signs. People were taking selfies in front of the thin ice warnings. Like it was insane. We were just like, what? What? Why? Okay, so PSA, because if any of you are in temperate climates like we are, and you're in areas where you don't get a lot of frozen stuff, like please don't go out on frozen ice unless you know it's safe. Like if anybody if the ice had cracked, if anything had happened, it would have taken so many people with it, and it was the most scary thing I think I've ever seen. And everybody was like so blasé about it. And I'm like, I get it, we're in Canada, but like we're in BC. Like we're in like the lower mainland of BC. Like we have, and that water was not even fully frozen like 4 or 5 days before that when we were walking around the pond, and parts of it were frozen. So it can't have been that thick. And it scared the crap out of me. I was just like, why though? Anyways, that's my memory. That's my rant about the frozen lake. Okay, that part's done. But it was really pretty, and it was really cool to see that the lake was frozen before people got dumb. But like before that part, it was really neat. And it was definitely memorable to me because I've never really had that experience. Okay, so books. There's only 2, but I finally finished Astrology for the Light Side of the Brain. This is by Kim Rogers Gallagher. Now, this book came to my awareness because I had Samantha Menzo, on my channel, and we were chatting astrology, and she recommended this book specifically. And I'm pretty sure she even described it as like a book that's like if you know Kitchen Table Tarot by Melissa Sonova is a really great beginner book, because it's very conversational and plain speak and kind of, playful. There's like a lightness and a not too seriousness about it that makes it easy to digest tarot stuff. This is that for astrology, and it's amazing. So it did take me a little bit to get through, because I wasn't like sitting and reading it. I would like read it. Like I would sit and read for a few minutes, and then I'd put it away, and then I'd sit and read a few minutes, and then I'd put it away. But I did read the entire thing, and it was really good. I have very itchy nose. I'm sorry. And then I also have the sequel, which is called Astrology for the Light Side of the Future. So this one is all about like the basics of a chart. So it goes through quite a bit of stuff. But then Astrology for the Light Side of the Future is supposed to be the book that covers transits, and I haven't dipped into that yet. It's on my to be read list, but this was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. There are a few occasional typos, and it is, I think, a little bit dated. Let's see. Yeah, so this is originally copyright 1995. So it does in parts feel a little bit dated. Oh, my bookmark's still in there. It does in parts feel a little bit dated, but it is really good. And I want to sit down with this book and my chart and actually make some specific notes because it was really, really good at breaking down those different elements. And I definitely feel like I could read a chart with the help of this book, which is, I think, the whole point. So this was really, really good. Please forgive this interruption into my regular content, but I forgot to talk about this book. So I'm recording this after and I'm going to insert it. So if it's awkward, I'm sorry, but I had to talk about it. I had picked this book up and was really excited about working with it in December, but it ended up being a did not finish for me. And I'll tell you why. I liked the premise of this book. I thought that this was going to have a very sort of witchy approach to the holidays. I thought I was going to get some practices for Yule. But I will say, and I think it does do some of that. But what I found when I got into this book was that I was really immediately put off by the author's approach. So the first sort of red flag to me personally in whether or not I was going to like this book or not was this section here where it says channeling Minerva. And it begins, I am Minerva. I was worshipped in Rome as the goddess of practical and artisanal knowledge, but I am no goddess nor ever was one. And right there, I'm getting annoyed, okay? And it says, there is only one God with an exclamation point. I am one of the Elohim. Now, it goes on from there. And if this is your belief structure, please know this is just my perspective. That's the P word I was looking for. That put me off. This whole thing, I was never a goddess. To me, it's establishing from the beginning of this book that this author's perspective is that there's no such thing as goddesses. And maybe that's not even what was intended here. But I did not like that. And this may have been a very genuine channeled message for this author. Obviously, it probably was. But I was really put off. And then I found out there was a lot of references to God, actually, and there's a lot of references to Bible quotes. And all of that I probably could have been okay with, but it felt like it was in here from the very beginning, so it threw me off. I will say that the actual Yule, days of Yule, so themes and time qualities of the 12 nights of Yuletide, this is actually kind of cool. And in theory, I like this. But again, we begin. A passage from the Christian Old Testament book Ecclesiastes, often quoted but rarely heeded, begins with the words, to everything there is a season. Now, I would normally, I feel like, not be terribly put off by Bible quotes or references as part of a book like this, except for, again, I felt like there wasn't a balance. It's not like there was sometimes Bible stuff and then sometimes other stuff. It just felt very pervasive throughout. The one thing that I thought was really cool about this book, and which I wish I could have bonded with the book better to enjoy this part, was they had different themes for each night of Yuletide and different sort of quotes, or prompts rather. And I really wanted to use those as journal prompts, but I found it wasn't going into areas that felt relevant to me. And that's, again, very subjective. And again, I will remind you that I was already put off this book. So I was sort of biased in the beginning to not like it once I had those experiences. I want to mention it because I think it's important that I wish that if it's going to be referencing Yule, which historically Yule is associated with non-Christian practices. I understand that the concept of Yuletide is more universal than that. And I don't even necessarily think that these authors are Christian. I think that they've got a lot of Christian theology as part of their belief structure, whatever that might be. I don't get the vibe. It does feel New Agey, if that makes any sense. It feels like Christian New Agey. With that being said, though, I do wish I'd have known that. And I reread the back, and there's nothing on the back that really mentions the one God or refers to the Bible or in any way gives me the idea that that might be what I find inside. And you'll notice that the book is actually categorized into paganism and folklore. Now, again, I only got a little ways into the book, and maybe all of the Bible stuff and the God references to one true God and stuff. Yeah, see, again, I just flipped to December 24th, 25th. If Christ were born in Bethlehem 1,000 times and not in thee thyself, then art thou lost eternally. So it wasn't just the beginning that has that. I do know that others have had very positive experiences with the book. Like there's a quote from Leo Tolstoy. I just wish it had been more balanced between different, again, here's a Genesis quote. I wish there had been more balance between sort of Bible and God references and like other references. And I don't feel like that balance was there for me personally. But again, I would have obviously wanted it skewed more the other way. So maybe it's not even balanced, just that there's not enough of what I was hoping for in here. And that just flavored the whole book for me. So I only really got into the first couple of nights, and then I was like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm going to stop. I do think this probably has some wonderful practices that are really useful. I just don't like the angle that the author was coming at this book from. So no disrespect meant to the author. This was a book that was sent to me for the purposes of review, and so I really wanted to be honest with you guys about my personal experience with it. I was let down because I was really excited about it being kind of a pagan book, and it didn't feel like a pagan book. And that's, again, just an opinion thing. It's very subjective. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned that in this monthly show and tell so that when later it maybe gets referenced, you know where I landed with this particular book. So anyways, back to my front on camera normal stuff. Okay, the only other book, my nose is very red because I keep itching it. The only other book I have to mention is my fiction read for December. And I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I will definitely read it again next year. And I'm so excited to say that because that's the whole reason I bought this. Anyways, so this is called The Afterlife of Holly Chase, and it is by Cynthia Hand. It has these really lovely deckled edge pages, which is where they kind of feel kind of parched, like they kind of are rough, torn edges. Anyways, this was so much fun to read. I was really worried. I'd read a couple mixed reviews on Goodreads, and I was like, I don't know, but I really wanted a holiday traditional fun fictional read that I could read every year around Christmas time because I have one of those for October, and those are like my two favorite seasons. It's like the Halloween season and the Christmas season. So this was really, really fun. It's a Scrooge, why do I always remember? A Christmas Carol. It's definitely based on the story of the Christmas Carol, but it's very different, and it's fun, and you're looking at the story through the perspective of a Scrooge, and it goes on so many twists and turns, and it was really fun, and the ending was delightful, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. So I would definitely recommend this. It was not expensive. It's $22 Canadian for a brand new hardback version of it. But I will definitely be keeping this on my shelf, which is saying something because I keep very few of the fiction books that I read in physical form like this. I keep very few of them because I have literally one shelf for fiction books on my bookshelf. That is it. Everything else is tarot, nonfiction, witchy, etc. So I have very limited space, and I'm keeping this for next year. So really, really, really good. That's it for books, I think, for December. One exciting thing. Okay, I'm gonna tease this out because it's book related. In December, and I want to say either late November or early December, the idea of a book club came up with my channel members. So if you don't know, I have channel membership. We call it the Unicorn Fam. I call it the Unicorn Fam because it's my channel membership, and I like unicorns, so that's what we're doing. I call it the Unicorn Fam, and we have various levels. So we have supportive unicorns, sparkly unicorns, magical unicorns, and badass unicorns at different tiers, and we do different things in those different tiers, but every tier up gets everything from below. That's basically how channel membership works. But the idea came up in the membership to do a book club. And I was like, oh, I was kind of scared, to be honest, because I wanted to do it, but also, like, I've never run a book club, so I wanted to do something really, really casual. So we are trying it for the first 2 months of this year. I want to do a book. It's about every 6 weeks, which we'll kind of run the book, and then we'll have a couple weeks in between each book to sort of vote on the next book and figure it all out. But it's not an official perk yet, but it's going to be, if it goes well, it will be a perk of the Sparkly Unicorn tier officially. But in the Unicorn Fam Facebook group, we've been telling everybody what the book is. So anybody at any level, even the supportive tarot or supportive unicorn tier, even people at the lowest possible tier can still participate or can play along in the Facebook group. But then once a month for Sparkly Unicorns and up, I'm going to have a live stream, not once a month, as we finish the book. And we'll have a live stream talking about the book we've been working on, which is me babbling about saying we're beta testing a book club as a Sparkly Unicorn perk. But anyways, for the first book, we voted on Sigil Witchery by Laura Tempest Zakroff. So I'm really excited to get into this. I'm going to be starting it this month. So wrapping it up by about that 6-week mark so that we can have our live stream. But I'm really excited because I have had this book for a really long time, and I've planned to work with it for a really, really, really long time, but it's just been sitting on my shelf. So it's now going to finally get some play. So I will definitely report back after we wrap up the book club for this first one, how it went. But we're going to be alternating. So we're going to do a nonfiction and then a fiction and then a nonfiction and then a fiction is kind of how we're going to do it. So if it goes well, then I will add it officially as a perk for Sparkly Unicorns, but we're still kind of doing it now. I don't want to commit until I know how it went, but that's the plan. I'm excited though, because it's just an extra way to kind of motivate more book consumption, and I'm pretty good about always having fiction on the go, but I'm not, like, this took me months and months to finish because it was nonfiction and it was just harder for me to prioritize, but I'm hoping the book club will keep me on track with my reading goals for 2022, so we'll see. And if you want to join us and you're in the channel membership and you just want to do the Facebook group part, that's fine. People can chat about the book as they go. We can chat about exercises, whatever, but my main channel membership stuff happens on my community tab. Okay. I feel like none of that made sense. I hope you followed. I'm a little hyper. It's the last day of my vacation when I'm filming this, and it's been really lovely and refreshing. Maybe too refreshing. I'm sorry. If you have to play me on my videos at like 0.75 speed, I'll understand. It's okay. I talk fast. Okay, one more thing before we get into decks, because it's kind of a deck, but it's kind of not. I want to talk about the Charmcast Tarot. So I did a walkthrough of this. These are those metal tarot charms, and I have been working with the pendant starting this month. So I'm going to mention it now because I started it just at the end of December. It's really great to use these to pull like a card for a focus, to ask a question, and then wear it all day as a reminder. And I have the perfect magnet for pulling the charm out. It works smoothly and perfectly. You just have to have a magnet that is stronger than the magnet inside the pendant if you have the Charmcast Tarot. So today's card, watch me not demonstrate. Okay, so it pulls out really easily. This is a, I think they call them like extra strong fridge magnets or something, but it's got a little lotus, so I'm just keeping it stuck to the outside of my bag. But yeah, so you have your little charm. So today I have, pardon the ink on my fingers, I have a 2 of cups, and it just pops in the pendant, and I can just change it out every day, and it's really fun. So I've been doing that. That's been fun. I'll probably have more to say about it at the end of January, but it's been fun. Okay, decks. Okay, so we have to start on a sad note. So the first week of December, I worked with the Faunabelle Tarot, and I worked with that next to the When My Soul Whispered. So I worked with these two together. The When My Soul Whispered is a beautiful oracle. It's a longtime favorite, and it did look really lovely next to, and feel really lovely next to the Faunabelle Tarot. I love this deck. This is coming out mass market, and I think there's some preview. There's a preview on the US Games YouTube channel of what the mass market version of this deck looks like. Alana had sent it to me, so I got a chance to take a peek. A link to the video. She sent me a link to the video. But anyways, the mass market version looks very similar to this version. It has a matte, what looks to me to be a matte gold gilding on the sides. It looks very similar to the independent. I was pretty impressed. It does have a little booklet that goes inside, whereas in the independent version, the book is separate and is more big, but it contains all the same material. And to be fair, the book for the When My Soul Whispered, the independent one, it's got a lot of white space on the pages, so shrinking that down does not feel, at least in the preview, it didn't look like it felt cramped or too small or anything like that. But I love When My Soul Whispered. It's one of my faves. I'm gonna hang it up now that I'm done talking about it because I'm right here and I can. It goes up there. Okay. But the Faunabelle Tarot. So if you've seen my ranking video or my decks that surprised me that I did with the 3 Fat Readers with Dustin and Danny, you heard me talk about this deck. I was so disappointed. And not because the deck is not beautiful in every way. It really, really is. And these backs still make me want to cry a little bit. But I'm pretty sure this deck's going to be rehomed. I'm really trying not to rush, but I have had a couple people reach out already, so I've got to get back to some people. But I'm just looking at it myself. I'm not even showing you. It's really pretty. I was disappointed because it just did not work well for me as a reading deck. And it just didn't. And I love it. I think it's well done. I think the suits are well done. I think the minors are well done. I have some quibbles about the way the quartz and the minors are not labeled, but outside of that, I don't have a lot of quibbles about this deck. And I feel like it is actually really, really good for kids, the way that it's designed. I think they really knocked it out of the park where that's concerned, in my opinion. But it sadly does not look like it's going to be a deck that I'm going to enjoy working with. And this was one that just shocked me that was not the case. I just assumed it was going to be incredible for me, but it isn't. And sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles, and it's okay. I'm going to get over it, but I'm a little sad. So that happened. After that week, I rotated into, I wanted to do a little bit of fairy tale stuff because it's December, and often am drawn to fairy tale stuff in December. So I worked with the Tarot of the Enchanted Forest. Is that what it's called? The Tarot of the Enchanted Forest? The Enchanted Forest Tarot? It's a Llewellyn deck. I'll have the link down below. This has got such great fairy tale vibes, and it's really, really pretty. I enjoy working with it quite a lot. And I paired this tarot with and this is new to me, the Fairy Tale Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Now I'm also reading the book. I did a whole video about this deck and about the big fairy tale book by the same pair, by the same duo. And I'm still working my way through that book. I'm reading it a little bit at a time, so I didn't put it in my book's favorites. But you can see a lot of my initial thoughts on it in that video, which I will try to link in the cards or in the description. This is such a great deck. I like Jasmine Beckett Griffith's artwork. Particularly, I find, and I think this is the thing for me, I find particularly in decks that have an art in themes, not art, in themes that have a storybook kind of feel. So like fairy tale or Alice in Wonderland or yeah, that seems to be what fits for me with Jasmine Beckett Griffith's artwork. She does have some other decks that I've looked at. She's got a vampire one and a few other ones that are Jasmine Beckett Griffith and Lucy Cavendish. And I really, really have been enjoying Lucy Cavendish's writing in the guidebooks of these decks. So of the fairy tale one and the Alice one. So these just were great. These were so much fun to work with in December. Again, I love some fairy tale vibes in that part of the year. So it worked out really great and I had a great time. Those were fabulous readers, no complaints. It was great. And then the whole second half of December, so the last 2 weeks of December, just right up pretty much to the new year, I worked with the Winter Wait Tarot, the Santa's Helper edition. And this deck was an absolute blast to work with. And that's really saying something because it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. And it was actually working with this deck that made me look at Rider-Waite-Smith clone decks just a little differently. I still don't think I'm going to acquire a bunch of them. But it was really fun to read a tarot that is so clearly meant to be a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It goes its own way in a few spots that are really fun. And the way that it depicts the meanings in a Christmassy themed or holiday themed kind of way is really creative and fun. But I really just enjoyed reading with it, and it felt like I was working a bit with a Rider-Waite-Smith, but in a way that I found really fulfilling and awesome. So it was a lot of fun. I'm almost a little sad to put it away, but I'm so glad that I have it to work with in the holiday season, and I will definitely work with it again next December, probably for the whole month. We'll see. It's hard for me to only work with a deck for a month, but this was great. And I worked with, next to it, of course, the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. This one is by Lorianne Anderson and Juliet Diaz. It's so good. This deck is so good. I really like the Halloween one, the Samhain Oracle. These are what the backs look like. Bright green gilding. And this was just a lot of fun. The art style did not gel at all with the Santa's Helper deck, but I felt like they worked so well together because I felt like this brought the depth and the seriousness of this season into my readings, whereas the Winter Wait Santa's Helper had that brighter, more fun, festive feel. So this feels like it definitely connects to seasonal magic, whereas the Santa's Helper deck feels like it does that too, but it does it in a more playful storybook kind of way. This brought the themes of my readings. This is how I determined what I was going to even read about. And I got used to seeing it next to the other deck. It didn't jar me too much that they were so different artistically, which is good because I hope to continue to work with these seasonal Oracle decks because I really enjoy them. And the next one is Beltane, which is my third favorite Sabbath. So Samhain, Yule, and Beltane are my faves. So if I only end up with those 3 of the entire series, that's great. But I'm probably going to end up with all 8 once they're eventually made because I've been enjoying them so much. So that was a blast. And that is it, guys. That is my entire December. There was so much to talk about. I have a whole bunch more to talk about. I'm going to be turning the camera around in a minute and filming my journals and planners of 2021. So that should be, or of 2022. So that should be coming to the channel soon, maybe even in a couple of days if I can actually edit it in time. We shall see. But I'm going to talk with you guys some more. You just won't be here yet. It's fine. You'll be able to watch that later. But this was a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out with me. These are like among my favorite videos to film. If you like to just hear me babble on at top speed about all the things I love, this is the video for you. So I love making this one. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you all so, so much. If you want to learn more about book club or about the Unicorn Fam membership, check that out. There's always a link in my description box. There's also a join button next to the subscribe button, but not everybody sees the join button, which is why I have a regular clickable link in my description box so that even if you're on mobile or your device doesn't like the button or whatever, you can still click it and read it and watch my first dorky video talking about it. It has shifted and grown a little bit since that first video already, and I hope to make a new video about it soon. But in the meantime, if you're interested in that, check that out. Maybe you can join us for Sigil Witchery in January and February. But for now, that's it. All right. Thank you all so much. Please do remember to click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Don't forget to click the little notification bell so you're notified of all my future live streams and videos. Thank you all so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.